President Obama says he spoke directly to Russian President Vladimir Putin about Russia's hacking, and the United States will strike back. Officials have told CBS News that American intelligence agencies believe Putin at some point was directly involved in the hacking around the election, and they believe Putin approved spreading the information.
President Obama told NPR News that the U.S. would retaliate.
I think there is no doubt that when any foreign government tries to impact the integrity of our elections, that we need to take action, and we will, at a time and place of our own choosing.
Russian officials said that this morning that Putin at a G20 summit gave President Obama a really clear response to the charge of interfering in the U.S. election. Margaret Brennan is at the White House. She's got new information about that meeting. Margaret, good morning.
Good morning. Well, 2 months before the U.S. election, President Obama confronted Vladimir Putin about the hacking. The Russians had already been alerted that the U.S. had detected their intrusions by Secretary Kerry, and President Obama warned there would be consequences.
Some of it may be explicit and publicized, some of it may not be. But Mr. Putin is well aware of my feelings about this because I spoke to him directly about it.
The president's private conversation with Vladimir Putin took place in September on the sidelines of the G20 summit in China. In what is described as a blunt and candid 90-minute meeting, Mr. Obama warned Putin that he didn't want to launch a cyber arms race, but he vowed America would retaliate.
We got more capacity than anybody, both offensively and defensively.
At the time, President Obama did acknowledge that the two had spoken about cybersecurity.
We did talk about cybersecurity generally. I'm not going to comment on specific investigations that are still live and active.
We now know one of those investigations was the Russian hacking connected to the Democratic National Committee and the presidential election. Within hours of the president's conversation, Putin had pulled back from a ceasefire deal in Syria and a U.S. offer to coordinate airstrikes against ISIS and al-Qaeda-linked terrorists. But U.S. officials claim there is no connection. Now, the White House is considering sanctions on senior Russian intelligence officials and a proportional cyber response. One factor as to why the White House waited, President Obama said he didn't want to politicize the intelligence, but they had also intended to coordinate with Hillary Clinton, who was expected to win the election. This morning, the Kremlin said that the U.S. should either provide evidence or stop talking about the hacking. Gail?
All right. Thank you, Margaret.